Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit. Brexit England, Northern Ireland, and Eastern Europe. And in Brexit England, the Daily Mail are going Looney Tunes over Nicola Sturgeon saying she detests the Tories. And I agree with her because these people are detestable. I mean, just look at the policies what these people just bring in, right? And then they expect, right, everybody must actually like them. you know, I've already heard on the radio this morning all the different culture wars, right? That the Tories are already trying to start. At the moment they're trying to start a culture war between, people on benefits, and so much people who are on benefits, right, are actually working folks. They're actually going out to work. We're living in a country where people can go out to work 50, 60, sometimes even 70 hours a week and barely scrape by enough money to live on. Right, they've got to do, and they've got to do, a lot of them have got to do like, maybe, half the month on a credit card, right? So that's the country that we're living in, right? And these people, right, are trying to get annoyed, pretending, because that's what it is. It's all a pretense, right? Oh, how dare she starts terrible politics? What she's dealing with? Oh no, it's just ridiculous, right? Because their politics is detestable. You know, if you go, you can go from like, taking the milk away from like school children right through to Brexit, right? And then all in between, the selling off of all of our infrastructure, the complete destruction of the NHS, right? We've got more food banks than McDonald's, right? We've got gas and electric, right? That is a luxury product. So much so that the government have to give us money to top up they've sold off these companies, and now they've got to pay us, right, so we can give that money to these companies, right? I don't know, right, what kind of politics that is, right, or what kind of economics that is. I have no clue, right, how we can get to a stage where you can sell off all of your stuff, right, and then, right, it becomes a luxury product within your own country, right? This whole thing, right? The way how the Tories are is catastrophic for what they've done to this country. It's devastating for what they've done to this country. Everything has been sold off, and everything is just getting worse. I was thinking over the weekend, right, that that politicians surely should be there, right, to make your life better. That's why they should be there, not to, these, I can say about the Tories for definite, right? Consistently, they've made everybody's life worse. There might be one or two people at the top, right? Very, very rich people who are really benefiting from from the Tory policies, right? But the main bulk of the country is no way benefiting from these. I mean, and that's why the Scots look at the Tories in a complete different way. How the English seem to look at the Tories. The English seem to say, "I want some more of that punishment, please." Whereas the Scots are just like, "No, fuck you." Right? We don't want to be with you, right? Because you're horrible racist, and these policies what you're bringing in are hurting, working and the poor. This is who these people are. This who their policies are hurting: the working classes and the poor people. That's who their policies are. You're stripping to pieces. I mean, you had levelling up, right? So you got the levelling up agenda. Boris Johnson saying he's going to level up, but next door, the guy saying next door to him, right? No, I'm not levelling up. I'm taking all the money and giving it to rich people. I mean, on a serious note, you have to work. You have to wonder how that can possibly go on. Right? Okay, we didn't find out that Rishi Sunak was doing that, right, until he was stupid enough to say it when he was out. Campaigning to be the Tory leader, right? And even that, right, didn't help his fucking brown ass, right? The fact how he would just tell them, listen, firstly, I'm prepared to send people who look like me to Rwanda, firstly, And secondly, I take from the less well off and I give it to you. And they're still like, yeah, we're not really ready for you. Yeah, because you're bloody Asian, so you can forget it. And that's the thing about the brown and the black Tories, right? They just don't realise these guys are just being used on a daily basis really hard. And welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages you sent me. And a special thanks to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. And you see, we're going over to America, right? And strangely, what I was just talking about, right? You know, conservative politics. Right? Conservative politics is rotten and it's nasty, right? And these people seem to all be quite evil, right? And if you're voting for that, then you're going to be put in that same category, right? You're evil, nasty, disgusting politics. What these people play, right? You know, Joe Biden just called them all out on the weekend. Because Joe Biden said he had a list, right, of all the Republicans, yeah, who voted against his infrastructure bill. Listed them, loads of them. In fact, all of them voted. Some of them voted against it. Only a few voted for it. Most of them voted against it. Oh no, we don't want that. It's bloody socialism. Right? Don't bring that here. We don't need that. We don't want your infrastructure, right, in our districts at all, under any circumstances. Yeah, right. Because the next thing, as soon as the bill's gone through, they're all writing to the appropriate authorities over there, say, listen, is there any of the infrastructure money for us? Can we have some of that? Because it's really going to like revolutionize our state if we can get some of that money. So please, could you please send it to us? They voted against it. Right? But now it's gone through. Oh no, we needed that money all the time. Because, right, we need bridges, we need roads, we need tunnels. But they voted against it. Knowing, right, that they need it. Knowing they need it. Oh no, we need it. Why are you in politics? What are you in politics for? Right? Why are you in politics? Not to help people. Right? You're voting against something, so you're fighting against it for all that time when you know what? You really needed it, so you should have voted for it in the first place to get it started. But that is conservative. That's the true conservative politics. It's just horrible. It's just horrible. What's the point of it? What's the point in voting against something, right, that you know you actually need? Right? That's like someone, right, who's lost a leg saying, well, you know what? I'm going to vote against prosthetic legs. I said, but you need one. Yeah, but I'm voting against it. And then the minute the vote goes through and says, oh well, everyone can have one. So, oh yeah, can I get one? I say, no, you fucking drag your ass around on your fucking 1 foot. Right? That's what I would say to them. Right? But it's really amazing the type of politics, right, what the right wing are prepared to deal with. Right? Where their politics is just, you know what, just go against the other side. Even if, right, it's helpful. Even if you need it. Just vote against it. Because, I don't know, I've got a blue flag, you've got a red flag. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense, So as I said, Joe Biden just called them all out, right? And if you hit, it's just like, and for me, when you hear that type of thing, right, you as a voter, you've got to really look at that and say, well, why are you in politics? If you're gonna why are you in politics? Because you're not doing anything to help the people. And that's conservatives all over the world. They're not doing anything to help the people. I mean, the only difference was, only conservatives I know who really looked like they was out to help the people was Angela Merkel's lot. Right? I think she looks like the only conservative in the world that I could have probably voted for, because she seems to like that she was helping the people in Germany and looking out for Germany's interest. And that's the thing. If you look out for your country's interest, then you're looking out for the people's interest. Right? But there's no way you could tell me that the conservatives here or the Republicans in America are looking out for the people's interest. right? When all the infrastructure's needed, right? Joe Biden's come in, right? And what's the first thing he's done? Politics, right? Policies that's going to help people, right? Prescription drugs. He's done something massive with prescription drugs. He's got a chips act so America can't run out of computer chips anymore. Right? The infrastructure bill, that's billions, probably nearly $1 trillion in infrastructure money, right? To build all to rebuild the infrastructure in the country. Right? Now, all these things, Donald Trump could have done all these things. But no. Because what was they playing? They was all playing culture wars, just like they're playing over here. Right over here, right now, they're trying to set everybody against each other. That's what that is the Tory politics, and that seems to be their politics all over the world. And I don't understand why it is here that people keep on voting these people in. Well, I do understand. It's because you people are stupid, and if you're not stupid, then you're racist fools. The Ukraine blew up a bridge. I don't know if you saw this. How the Ukraine just blew up that bridge between Crimea and Russia. Because obviously Crimea, is supposed to be Ukraine territory, but the Russia annexed it a few years ago, and they built a beautiful bridge between Crimea. But it was a really spectacular explosion, right? Because the Ukraine, because Ukraine have had the Russians on the run, and it seems like the Russians are just like. They're being embarrassed as far as I'm concerned, because it's like Exeter, going up to Manchester United and busting their ass in a football match. Do you know what I mean? It's just unbelievable what's going on there. So the Ukraine are getting overly confident. So it looked like they decided, well, you know what? As we're in the war, we're just going to re-annex back the Crimea because we can clearly see we've got you on the run because you're using tanks that are over 80 years old. Did you hear that? They're using tanks that are over 80 years old, the Russians. And the Ukrainians, and how we know this, because the Ukrainians have seen some. But, right, so it looks like the Ukrainians are saying, you know what, we're going to re-annex back our land. But, obviously, you are dealing with Russia, who have got, they've got really good long-range weapons. So they've been hitting Kyiv now, and they've just been hitting civilian areas, because, Putin was on the TV talking about how Putin, the world's biggest terrorist, talking about how the Ukrainians are terrorists for blowing up this bridge, and I say, well, I don't really think that people who live in glass houses like you should play with fireworks, especially not inside the glass house, because that's what Putin's doing. When he's talking like that, that's what he's doing. He's playing with fireworks, and that we're talking commercial fireworks. We're not talking about standard, but we're talking about commercial fireworks. What the man's playing with, it's a fucking joke. I don't know if you saw that the petrol station that blew up in Ireland, and a good few people died over that. Do you know what I mean? But I saw a building that was about over 100 meters away and had all its windows blown out. Right, so it was a massive. Because obviously most of our petrol stations are pretty safe, because it's not very often that we have something like this. So but obviously it must have been completely devastating to especially be around. It must have been terrible. But I'm sure I heard that over 10 people had been killed. I know some children have been killed in this as well. So it's like really shocking. So we must send our thoughts to the people of Ireland. And we also have to say congratulations to Ronaldo. 700 goals deep in the professional level at the highest level, 20 years straight. Right? And he's still at one of the best clubs in the world. He's still at Manchester United. 700 goals. That's just incredible. Do you know what I mean? But obviously Ronaldo's one of my favourite players. I've always liked him. Do you know what I mean? And it's because the main reason why I like him is because what he done off the field, right? But obviously, it really helps him being a fantastic footballer. That really does help as well. But we have to say congratulations to Ronaldo, because 700 goals at the top level, right? At 20 years at the top, and still playing at the top level. And he only looks. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how old he is. I can't remember how old he is, but whatever he is, he doesn't look it. Right? That's unless he's in his late 20s. Arriva bus drivers are going on strike in Kent from today, so that's more strikes. But we're glad we can report that the barristers have accepted the offer offered to them by the government, so they are no longer on strike. The barristers, but Arriva bus drivers have gone on strike from today. Ex-Labour Deputy Leader Tom Watson will be issued with a made into a lord. So because remember Tom Watson, a lot of people are quite upset about it because remember Tom Watson was the one who they said was pushing the whole paedophilia thing within the House of Parliament and all that. Do you know what I mean? And the guy, remember the guy Carl Beach, he got locked up, and I mean he for apparently lying about the whole thing. I mean this guy got a long time in prison for apparently lying about something, right? Which I would always say alleged. Right, because something, right? None of us will ever know whether or not this guy was really telling the truth. Because one thing we do know is they've locked him down, right, for lying about it. He's got longer than any paedophile would have got, right? So something really strange has gone on there. Do you know what I mean? But whether or not Carl Beach was just a lying fantasist, as they like to say, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But Tom Watson was only acting on evidence that on things that people had told him, and he said, you know what, Carl Beach never told him anything, right? He put Carl Beach onto the police because Carl Beach must have approached him, and he said, well, listen, you know what, he put him onto the police, right? So that was his that was his involvement in it. He never went and said to the police, oh well, Carl Beach is saying this and he's saying that. He never done that. He was on TV this morning. Explaining it. I've never done that. I just told him to go to the police and tell the police, right? Don't tell me, tell the police, and that's what happened there. So we'll see whether or not he gets that. And Pinhead Zippy Nadeem Zahawi has said that we need to avoid bad migration. And these people, they wonder why we call them coconuts and bounties and bananas. They wonder why we call them names like sellouts. They wonder why. Because, a white politician would never say that. Nope. Wouldn't say that at all. They think it, right? And now that Nadeem Zahawi has said it, a brown guy, they can all start saying it now, right? Because the thing with brown and black politicians, they can say stuff, right? And that's the reason why we always have to make sure that we have to let them know. Listen, that is not on. If you're going to join the Tories, you should be joining the Tories, right, to make sure that these type of things don't happen, to make sure people aren't in there saying these type of racist stuff, but they're the ones who are saying these type of racist stuff. This is what really amazes me about the and they wonder to themselves, well, why do they hate us so much? Why do they call us all these names? For me, it's completely obvious. Right? When you sit around a cabinet table, and you're saying, well, you know what? In fact, you're the person bringing in policies, right, to send black and brown people to Rwanda, right? Something that another white politician would never touch. But you're the person bringing in these policies, right? And then you've got one saying, oh well, I dream of having a front page spread, right, of sending plane loads of people shackled, right, to Rwanda. I dream of it. It's my passion. And they wonder why we call them things like coconuts and sellouts and bounties. I mean, they don't, well, I think, obviously I think they know, but they're just people who probably just, they're just into there's so much people into this country who are just into nasty politics. And I suppose, why change the habit of a lifetime? Why shouldn't black and brown people be like that as well? I mean, they're only human, isn't it? So I don't know if you know, right, but Liz Truss, right, has taken her policy of trickle down economics, right, from a book, right, from an economist. I can't remember what his name is, but from an economist, right, who writes about 20th century US politics. So he wrote a book about Reaganomics, and he's heard what Liz Truss has had to say, and he said she has read the book completely in the wrong way. She's taken the wrong end of the book, because he was trying to explain in the book how it doesn't work, and the only reason why America got away with it because they've got the worldwide currency. That's why they got away with it. So he was trying to explain in his book that this policy does not work. It's a terrible policy, and he is shocked and he's surprised, right, that Liz Truss, right, has seen something else in there, right. She's seen a policy that can work when he's trying to explain this is a failing policy and it doesn't work. And that's what That's where she's getting her. That's where she's getting her advice from. Seriously, these people. Now you say, no wonder the Queen's coffin had a wand broken put in there, because these people really believe in this witchcraft. I mean, why else would you have a wand broken over your coffin and buried with you? A wand. Why? Because these people believe in they believe in witchcraft, and I think that Liz Truss, right, especially as Liz Truss believes that the rest of the world should follow her. And the woman with the UK's flattest backside, Liz Truss, you can't tell me the woman's backside is not flat. The woman's guts sticks out far further than her bottom. The woman's bottom is like a plate, right? I swore blind when she come out on stage the other day to give her a speech, yeah, that she had a book in there. I swore blind the woman she must have, or a magazine, right? Because the woman's backside is as flat as a table. She's very happy that we can now sell lamb to the Americans. So, well, who? You mean the Irish? Because that's the lamb is a big Irish thing, but America's not really big on lamb. They're not really big on lamb. And if this was something, what was it? Something like I can't remember how much millions it was, but it's over 5 years. I think it's like something like 37 million over 5 years. Say, that's just one company, right? But that's what they said, over 5 years. And these people are getting excited over that, being able to sell lamb. Because remember, we got banned from selling lamb in America because of like Chernobyl and because of mad cow disease. So that's how long it's been. So just now we've just got the contract to be able to sell, to sell lamb in America. But Americans are big on beef, and they're big on chicken. So whether or not we'll be able to sell lamb is another thing altogether. And Conor Burns, MP, has been fired by Liz Truss. Apparently, he was in some bar at the conference, and he made some unwanted gestures towards someone. I don't know if it was a man or a woman that he made, but I know there was some touching on the leg and all those things there. And Liz Truss, the woman with the flattest backside in the UK, has sacked his ass. The Lionesses beat the USA, and it's a fantastic win because the USA are a fantastic women's football club. They've been the best in the world for as long, and I can't remember the last time the Lionesses beat them. So absolutely fantastic. But the Lionesses are playing with so much confidence, man. They're just like, you know what? They've just gone into a different level. I've already gone well over on this video already. Right, Corella de Braverman, or as we like to call her, right, the woman, right, who nobody wants to marry. I don't know if she's married, but let me tell you, yeah, I look at her and I think I have to look away, right, because I can't actually look at her. Right, she's not a good-looking woman at all. Right, it's just at all. But anyway, Corella de Braverman has said she wants to turn cannabis into a Class A drug. See, you know what? Yeah, I just always say on that. Yeah, why just change the habit of a lifetime? I mean, they've been doing this for over 50 years, right? And if the truth be known, right, I can make one phone call and get you any drug that you want. So is the war on drugs, is it working? I mean, what really amazed me about this whole thing, right, is, I mean, if you look at America, for example, right, you're allowed to walk right? In a lot of states, you're allowed to walk around with concealed deadly force, right? So you can kill another person or maybe plenty of other people. Right, you're allowed to walk around with CS spray, and in most states, CS spray, koshes, pepper spray, knives, and all these type of things freely in America, right? But you can't buy some crystal meth that can kill yourself with. But you can carry weapons to kill other people. That don't make any sense, right? The whole drug laws all around the world doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean? Not at all, right? And I've always told people, right? The more the drug, the harder the drug laws are, right, is the more expensive drugs is, right? So all you're doing is you're just making the dealers, right, and the international drug traders, you're just making them richer, right, with the laws, right? Because let me give you an example, right? On the street, an ounce of weed is what? It's 160 to 200 pounds, say, right? Which means that in prison, right, that is probably around £400 for 1 ounce. Tighten up the laws, right, to make it harder to get into the prison, right? And every time you do that, you put £10 on top of it, right? £10 on the price, which gives people much more of an incentive to take that in there. Of course it does, right? You've got to remember, yeah, a screw or one of the prison workers, right? Taking in, if they can manage to take that in, right? A lot of times they can earn their month's money in one or two transactions. That's what you got to understand. So their laws are making things much worse, and Cruella de Braverman wants to join the club. Our new Home Secretary. Let's talk about some Brexit. Britain is slowly waking up to the truth of Brexit. It has made us poorer, left us adrift, alone, says The Guardian. Adrift and alone, says The Guardian. And who cares what they think? They're a bunch of bunch of woke lefties. And who cares what they think? And drivers will need a standard international goods vehicle operator's license for transporting goods for hire or reward in the EU. Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway and Switzerland, says the Express. And you know what? They're real Brexiters. But if they're saying that, then this it's something new that's obviously going to come in for obviously if you're running a lot of trucks out there. So I'm sure that Britain understood what it was voting for, and those last couple of countries, they're not actually in the EU, but they must be in the single market or in the customs union, so they adhere to certain laws. So now, when we drive over there, our drivers drive over there, they're going to need a different license. And the problem that the lady with the flattest backside in the UK, Liz Truss, faces over Brexit. It's not aging very well. And so who knew? Who knew that Brexit wouldn't age very well? Who said, you know what, this thing is going to go really badly for the people of this country. It's going to be terrible. And what do you people do? You said, no, we're going to vote for that because we're stupid and racist. Stupid and racist, and that's what's got us here, right? And we've got the Tories complaining about Nicola Sturgeon. You imagine that? But Nadeem Zahawi, right, can talk about bad migration in the same way Donald Trump can brand the Mexicans as rapists, because that's how it goes to the ears of the people that Nadeem Zahawi and Donald Trump want to get to. That's how it goes to their ears, because they're uneducated fools. Anyway, guys, look, I've gone 9 minutes over what I was supposed to do. And that's ridiculous. But I'm going to bow out of here. This, my friends, is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.